Hey guys, Christina here. I'm back with Host Coaching Part 2. Are you ready? I'm going to wait for a couple people to get on. Make sure I'm in the right spot. Maybe. There I am. Okay. Perfect. So, Host Coaching Part 2. You guys, I know a lot of you are going to watch this in replay. We're all on different time zones. It's almost 5 o'clock here. So Host Coaching Part 2, the first part of Host Coaching, I went over why it's important to host coach. I went over it's important to have a system. I went over what's in my host packet, what's in your virtual host packet, all of that stuff. So if you missed it and you didn't see that video, stop this video. Go back from Tuesday and watch that video because it's awesome, okay? So this part I'm going to talk about a little bit more in detail of some things that I do, and then the main point of host coaching, okay, and what the goal is, the main goal to get out of host coaching, okay? So the first question I want to ask is, are you guys ready? When you leave your house, would you rather make $50 or $200? I know the answer. I'm hoping it's $200. Hey, Jill. So you guys want to make the most out of your party when you're at your party, right? Well, the only way to ensure that is host coaching. I have hair, sorry. Is host coaching. Host coaching is going to set you up for an amazing party. Okay, so host coaching, you got to think of it like this. Host coaching is actually going to be where you earn your commission, and then your party is going to be where you pick it up, where you pick up your paycheck. Okay, so you have to host coach. If you don't host coach, like I said in the other video, you're not going to have great sales, you're not going to have great bookings, and you're definitely not going to have great recruits. So, host coaching. So I talked a little bit about what's in my host packet, when to give it out. You want to give it out at your party when you meet your new host, or if you obviously meet a person out and about, you have to mail them a packet. I talked about what's in the packet. So now we are like 3 weeks before the party, okay? And this is what I do. I actually send them a recipe. I keep calling these things recipe cards. This is an invitation, and I've created a little label on here, and it says, host is you. It's time to mail, text, email all 40 invites. Yes, 40 friends, family, and neighbors. This will equal a $1,000 party, which means $215 shopping spree for you plus more, okay? So I also write on the side here, this is the most important part of the party, because it is. Inviting people is the most important part of the party. You have to make sure they're inviting a lot of people so you have a lot of people there. You guys all know the ratio. If they invite 40 people, you'll have 10 to 12 guests. So maybe shoot for 50, and tell them to invite 50 people. So I mail this to the actual host 3 weeks before the party. So this is on their radar. Sorry, there's a little glare. So this is on their radar. So I have all of my hosts coming up in a little stack. And 3 weeks before the party, every Monday, I send out host stuff. So 3 weeks before the party, they're getting a postcard. Okay, 2 weeks before the party, all right? 2 weeks before the party, they're getting a letter from me. This is just my system. You guys can come up with whatever system you want. I know one of the directors on my team, she actually came up with a system like these letters, but she put the letters into a text picture format. So she actually texts her hosts 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and 1 week out. But anyway, I like to use good old-fashioned mail. So I have a host letter, and I shared all these documents, and I'll share them again. I'll share the link under this video, okay? So 2 weeks out, I send them a letter, okay, letter number 2. 1 week out, I send them letter number 3. So these are all my hosts coming up. So that's letter 3. So 1 week out, I mail them another letter. And just to give you an idea of what the letter says, you guys can totally go and check it out. I gave you all the docs. But it pretty much says, your party's right around the corner. It talks about outside orders. It talks about contacting and reminding your friends. It talks about the ingredient list for your recipe. It talks about having, different workspaces available in your house. Having fun. Take advantage of all the host specials. Check out your host packet, all that stuff. So that is kind of like the gist of the letters. Okay, so now I start actually texting my host like a week out after I send that third letter. I normally like send them a little text periodically. Like I'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about your party. Or sometimes I'll say, oh, I'm so pumped about your party. Or I'm so stoked about your party. Whatever. Awesome emojis, whatever. And then I send them a text because I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. I hope they are too. So not only does that get them excited and let them know I'm excited, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm having a party. Oh yeah, I better get my button gear. Like it's kind of like a little reminder for them too. So maybe once a week, before, like 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, just say, hey Sally, I'm so excited about your party. I can't wait to party with you on April 15th or whatever it is. Okay, so texting, that's how I communicate with a lot of my cooking show hosts. Now, virtual parties, same thing. If you're doing all your parties on one specific day or 2 days of the month, you can Erin and I created like a host. I know she's probably like, don't talk about it. But we actually created like a host coaching group for all those virtual hosts. Okay. So that's really exciting. Get creative. Maybe you want to start like a message with all your hosts, whatever. But you have to stay in front of them or they're going to totally cancel. That's where cancellations come from. That's where not a lot of guests show up because they were not reminded 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Hey April, hey Erin. All right, so 1 week out, I send that letter, I send them a little text, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then maybe a few days before the party, hey, I'm super excited about your party, how many friends do you have coming? And then I also send them a little reminder, like picture. It says, I created it in pic collage. It's actually in that whole document I share with you. But it says like, my party's tonight. Can't wait to see you there. Bring a friend. And that is a picture for your host to send to all of her friends the morning of her party. And that has really been key with my successful parties because my host is involved. She's inviting her friends and now she's reminding her friends like, hey, my party's tonight, can't wait to see you, whatever, bring a friend. So all of those things leading up to the party are very critical. It's called host coaching. So Pampered Chef has a whole host coaching outline. They have videos you could watch, documents you can check out. They have tons of information. But I did want to just say there was one little thing that I found on host coaching online. And the 3 main goals of host coaching are 1, to increase the number of guests, obviously. So if you see, let's just say on a virtual party or you create a party for your host, which I normally create all the Facebook parties for my cooking shows as well because I get lots of orders that way and it's a great way to follow up with people. It's a great way to connect with people. If I meet somebody at the party, I'm messaging them or friend requesting them after the party and then they start to see all the stuff that I do and maybe one day down the road if they didn't book, they will book. So increasing the number of guests is huge. So host coaching, if you see on their parties that they've only invited 10 people, that's a great coaching opportunity for you. You message them and say, hey, I see you added some friends to your group. Make sure you invite at least 50 so we have a great number coming. Or, if it's a virtual party, we all know we want to invite a lot more people because it's a little bit harder to get them virtually, on that event. But obviously, host coaching, the main goal is to increase the number of guests. Number 2, ensure a great party experience. The worst thing you can do is message or call your host like the day before their party. I'm going to tell you what, they're not going to answer. They're going to be like, this chick is calling me now? We were supposed to have our party tomorrow night. They're going to cancel their party. They're never going to talk to you. They're not going to message you back. They're not going to call you back because you totally missed the boat. You have to be in front of them 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, however you communicate with them, either by phone, by email, by text, by Facebook message, whatever the case, you have to communicate with them to ensure a great party experience. So when your host is happy and prepared, then your guests will be happy and you'll have more bookings because everything is going smoothly. There's a lot of people there. The excitement is up because everybody's prepared, right? Okay, number 3, the number 3 main goal of host coaching is to build your team. So I think Erin is going to touch on this a little bit later, but hosts are a great source of new recruits. So always make sure, we talked about having that kit credit in the host packet. They should be your recruit. They can use the $25 to $50, and I think Erin's going to talk about this, so I don't want to go too much into detail. But that is a great way to build your team. If you are doing virtual parties, you should be asking any party. You should be asking your host if they want to join your team and use that free money towards their kit. And I can't tell you how many times that I've had new people join just because they wanted the kit, and then a week later they call me after I've reached out or messaged them or sent them an email for welcoming them to our team. I can't tell you how many times they're like, you know what, I showed a friend the catalog and they totally want the spiralizer, so I think I'm going to sell this. So you just never know. So that is a great way to build your team. Okay, so you guys, host coaching is key. So I really, I did this in 2 parts because there's a lot of parts to host coaching. There's a lot of different systems to host coaching. Do you guys have any questions about host coaching or anything that I do? I know there's a few of you on here. I don't know who's left, but just wanted to see. Let's give it a minute. But host coaching is key, you guys. It's the oil to your business. If you don't host coach, you're not going to have a business. Anybody? Anybody have any questions? All right. I think I covered it all. I mean, there's so much more. But, whether you host coach via phone call, whether you host coach via email, whether you host coach via text or instant messenger or snail mail, I always suggest to do a little bit of each one because just because let's just say you don't like to get on the phone, your host might. Okay, just because you're on Facebook doesn't mean your host is. Just because you like to text doesn't mean your host likes to text. So when you book your party, make sure you ask them what's the best way to communicate, and that is the way to communicate. I can't tell you how many times my team members say, oh, I can't get a hold of the host. Well, did you ask how they like to be, how they like to communicate? Oh, well, maybe not. Well, if you're just emailing them, maybe they're that person that has 100,000,000 emails in their inbox and never checks it. If you are just calling them on their home phone, they might never check that. If you're just texting them, maybe they don't get texts. I don't know. So you always want to do a little bit of everything with host coaching and communicating with your host. And simple as this, host coach. That is where you're going to make your money. Okay, guys? I hope you have a fantastic night. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful. I'll share the link again to my all things host coaching link again. Everything is in there. But if you have any questions for me, just reach out. I'm here to help, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.